It's the end of summer, and the construction of Canada's next naval support ship is coming to an end. With the construction proceeding as planned, the team at Davie are putting on the final touches. After the installation of the ship's 2 cranes, Asterix is floated out of the dry dock and moved alongside the quay. Here, her systems will be brought to life and tested. And that starts with what is arguably the most important part of the ship, the NATO-compliant Replenishment at Sea system, which will be used to refuel and provide supplies and ammunition to Royal Canadian Navy and Allied warships while underway at sea. Next, it's time to test the ship's cranes by lifting a maximum payload at maximum outreach. Then comes the safety equipment. First the ship's lifeboats, then the launch and recovery systems, and then the marine evacuation systems. Meanwhile, on the bridge, OSI Systems from Vancouver are making the final touches to their state-of-the-art integrated navigation and tactical system.
So this is only half the bridge. We're on the starboard side. The person who steers the ship sits here. The navigator sits here, and he has three large screens in order to do his work. And he can come here to access the dual redundant GPS systems, the speed log, the depth sounder, and the AIS system. All the way on the right is the integrated platform management system, from which you can view everything in terms of the machinery on board the ship. The 3 screens can be configured. Let me make a little change here. So if he was navigating, then he could change the screen in order to suit navigation. If he wants to share conning information with the helmsman, then he can change it into conning information. So this would probably be the setup that he would use the most. You could also put up radar screens. You could also put up target tracking screens. The screen that we have here lets everybody know at a glance what's going on in the ship. So green is good, yellow is kind of good, red is bad. You can see that we're almost all the way ready to go operational. There's only a few things that are still red, but just by glancing at it, we can know if something is fully operational, perhaps degraded or questionable, or not operational at all.
This same system will be fitted on all of Canada's future naval fleet, and it is just one of the many military systems on board which are necessary to ensure the safety and security of the ship as it goes on to serve in support of global combat, peacekeeping, and humanitarian operations. While the project has been a great success, with the ship now close to completion, workers at the shipyard are now anxious about future prospects.
As you know, no more news about the next ship or something, the next step for the Davie. But everybody worked really hard and they are really proud about that project. And everybody knows it's a big step for the survey of the Davie. And we hope so. The government soon announce something important for us. Everybody wait for that because the effort is there, and I think so everything will be go well. But we wait for more news from government, for my government now.
It's the 23rd of December 2017, and the ship is about to set off on its maiden voyage to Halifax. But a winter storm has descended across the east coast of Canada.
With most of the region seeing gusts up to 110 kilometers per hour, most flights were grounded.
From space, it's clear this system is a monster, slowly working its way up the coast with a dangerous mix of snow and high winds.
With storm surge warnings still in effect, officials are also warning about the possibility of flooding in coastal areas overnight.
Despite extreme weather conditions expected en route, the decision is made to proceed as planned. The first Resolve-Class Naval Support Ship begins its maiden voyage. It's morning, and after a short trip down the St. Lawrence River, it's time for the majority of the construction crew from Davie to depart the ship and get home for Christmas. After a short stopover at Rimouski, the ship sets sail and continues her voyage to Halifax. Her new crew are finally on their own.
I'll tell you, getting the Asterix out of Lévis, Quebec, we were on a very tight timeline. There was quite a bit of pressure on us to get out of there simply because of the season, the time of the year. And everybody pulled through quite successfully, and I'm very happy to be sitting here in this chair right now on the maiden voyage Asterix heading for Halifax. It's quite an honor, quite a privilege. I feel quite proud to be here.
Left the shipyard in great condition, and we tuned things in down below because people were getting used to the different aspects of it. It's a vessel has been laid up for now 2 years, so getting the conversion done. So the engineering staff and all members of the crew, I guess, but the engineering staff spent a lot of time to tune the engines in. And now we're running free. We're doing good.
When the ship arrives in Halifax, personnel from the Navy will immediately begin preparations on board for a period of live exercises at sea. Having a mixed crew of merchant and naval seafarers is something new for Canada, but no one is in any doubt that it will be a success.
The Navy will come on board, and it is my hope, wish, and dream that, and I think this is what's going to happen, is you'll get the two different entities and they'll start gelling together after a little while, and the mutual respect will shine through, and it'll all become one team. And when that happens, that's when things really start running smoothly. So looking forward to it, you know.
With time out for a short break to celebrate Christmas Day, the crew are now into the swing of things and are preparing to welcome the Navy on board. The next day, on Boxing Day, the ship arrives in Halifax. The Navy are boarding and preparing for the first set of exercises. The sailors know that the Resolve-Class Naval Support Ship will fill a major gap in the Royal Canadian Navy's capabilities, and they couldn't be happier to see Asterix alongside at Canadian Forces Base Halifax. All ranks within the Navy are keen to see the Navy's new mothership. Over the next few days, the Navy crew will get to know their new ship and complete their harbor training before she leaves for her first set of exercises in the North Atlantic. The short stay in Halifax will give the Navy and Federal Fleet Services crew time to get to know each other and put into practice the working procedures developed over the past 2 years by Federal Fleet Services while the ship was under construction at Davie. It's time for Asterix to begin her first set of exercises offshore Halifax. Before she leaves the harbor, the Navy crew are taking their positions.
Right now what we're doing is while we're entering and leaving harbor, we set up a underway force protection component, which I am the forward QRT-IC, and I will control the upper deck sentries and deploying the QRT as required. I think the ship is amazing. It's a great asset to the Canadian Navy.
Meanwhile, down below, the Navy personnel who will be responsible for performing the replenishment at sea operations are preparing equipment for the coming exercises.
We are currently making up lines for RAS stations to secure many fueling houses on board the motor vessel Asterix and our new Asterix here. So we're just getting ready for further on RAS operations.
It's the first day at sea, and before any live resupply exercise, the combined team of military and merchant sailors are practicing maneuvering the ship and testing the redundancy of the highly sophisticated military systems on board.
NRU, we're simulating a power failure, and with the ship staff, so that way, when we're doing a RAS, we have our gear streamed to the other ship. We're actually seeing how long it takes to get the other generator back online without having failure of equipment, and to mitigate risk of anybody getting hurt.
And the test is a success.
We need to be able to test how long it would take to bring a backup generator online so we could continue on with the replenishment at sea. So today we learned that it takes less than 10 seconds as long as an engineer is down in the switchboard to put the breaker and activate the generator. Tomorrow we're going to take the next step in our trials program, and we're going to have HMCS Toronto practice coming alongside motor vessel Asterix. This is so the captain can get comfortable bringing the ship into position, so eventually the day after we can start passing gear, doing dry hookups, and eventually conduct a full replenishment of fuel at sea.
Having now spent some time on board the ship, Navy personnel are beginning to understand the levels of innovation integrated into this 21st century combat support ship.
This ship is magnificent. It's magnificent in every facet. I did my training on board HMCS Observer, which was a wonderful ship. It's over 40 years old, and this is something out of Star Trek as far as I'm concerned. It's amazing.
It's morning, and HMCS Toronto, one of Canada's City-class patrol frigates, is fast approaching Asterix. Before conducting an actual RAS, teams are going through their final training and will initially perform an at-sea approach exercise. This is the first time Canada has operated a replenishment ship since HMCS Protector and HMCS Preserver were decommissioned from service in 2014. And with the new state-of-the-art equipment, never before fitted to a Royal Canadian Navy vessel, the learning curve is steep, and they are under the watchful eye of Navy sea trainers.
We make sure the readiness of ships are ready to go. All ships are ready to go. And as the coxswain, I'm the senior non-commissioned member of the team. So I look after all the command level stuff and the morale and welfare of the team. Today we're doing RAS approaches with the HMCS Toronto. It's a historic day here on Asterix. First day doing the business at the Navy. It's a great Navy day.
After the bridge officers are finished with their maneuvers, it's over to the teams on the deck to receive the gun line, pass the messenger line, and hook up the span wire for the first live refueling exercise. Then it's time to move the fuel hoses between the ships. Once that is complete, it's over to the team in the RAS control room to begin pumping. That is being done under the careful supervision of the manufacturer of the replenishment equipment, Toronto-based specialists, Hepburn Engineering.
25%, Master Stephen.
Down below, the Federal Fleet Services crew are checking the flow rate. It's not this engineer's first rodeo.
I know all about what's happening here. I was on the old Resolve-Class, right, and on the one that we're fueling right now, so I know what's going to happen and back and forth. It's old stuff on a new ship.
The fuel replenishment exercise goes to plan. Next, it's time to test the Traveler, which is used to transfer solid cargoes, such as ammunition and food supplies, to other warships. It's time to bring in the task group, and Asterix is joined by 2 more frigates, as well as a submarine and a maritime coastal defense vessel.
Your average Canadian patrol frigate carries approximately 60 to 70,000 liters of diesel fuel on board to drive her main engines. This vessel carries upwards of 10 million liters, which allows us to circumnavigate the world if required. But of course, to do that, there becomes a lot of other pieces in place, such as how we're going to feed sailors on board. Ships don't go to sea designed to circumnavigate the world. They're designed to go, effect operations, and then proceed to resupply. Having this vessel means that we don't have to proceed to a port to resupply. You have everything you have on board. So you think of us, we're a floating gas station. We're also a floating supermarket. We have the ability to carry groceries, dry goods, flour, water, whatever the need that is required by our partner nations, whether it's organic Canadian units, our NATO allies, or partner nations. We're able to deliver that service to them at sea while underway, allowing longer time on station, greater effect on operations. So another key capability that this vessel brings is what's called up to a NATO Roll 2E capability. So at sea, dynamic environment, lots of things can happen. So while we're at sea, we need the ability to take care of our sailors if they fall, if they get hurt, or to support our partner nations, whether it's on scene, off the coast of Haiti, for example, or in a higher threat operation area where we can pull back certain personnel to receive that medical ability. With a mission fit of highly trained doctors and medical specialists, we have the ability to do surgery in theater while at anchor to support those personnel, more than just a patch and push, which you might normally have on a frigate, but something to provide more wholesome health care and life-saving capability to those on board.
With the replenishment at sea exercises over, it's now time for the last test, Asterix's aviation facilities. And to do that, the Royal Canadian Air Force are using their new CH-148 Cyclones. Asterix is equipped with the largest aviation facilities on board any ship serving with the Royal Canadian Navy. Not only is the helicopter deck large enough to land the largest of the Canadian Forces helicopters, Asterix is also able to hangar 2 helicopters in their own individual hangars. The ship's aviation facilities will be used for both vertical replenishment, which means providing stores and supplies by air to other warships, as well as acting as a maintenance hub for all task group helicopters. As a floating heliport, Asterix is equipped with everything you would find on land, whether it is firefighting capabilities or maintenance facilities. She has been specially designed so that cargo stored in the forward end of the ship can be moved under deck all the way up to the hangar for fast and efficient vertical replenishment operations. This is an entirely new capability for Canada. After several days of helicopter trials, the Navy's first set of exercises are complete, and it's time to head back to port. The exercises were a great success.
It's been very exciting as a project director. Myself, just for the last 12 months, to visit it by month and see it come along, see the superstructure integrated, see all the conversion work and all the commissioning and integration that went into getting this vessel where it is right now off the coast of Nova Scotia, doing trials with the RCN. So that's been very exciting. The conversion process, very complicated process involving a lot of contractors and Federal Fleet Services working to get exactly what we needed in that conversion process to make sure the vessel matched what the Royal Canadian Navy was after. A lot of time in Quebec over the last year, and now finally seeing it off the coast of Halifax is really exciting. Over the last week, seeing replenishment at sea with Toronto, with Montreal, seeing all ships in formation out here. And it's the result of a lot of hard work by Federal Fleet Services and Davy. So motor vessel Asterix is also a great capability to the Navy as it's bringing on some 21st century standards of accommodations. And it's been a real treat for the first of crew, military crew, to experience the type of accommodations that we're going to see, the cafeteria, the common lounges, some of the private cabins, all that stuff in the superstructure that has been made this a really great place to live for the sailors. So the sailors are pretty keen. Really enjoying the first taste of the quality of life they'll have when they're spending long months away at sea. So this has been a fantastic opportunity to see this firsthand with this NRU Asterix crew.
We work very hard here, often 16 to 18 hours a day. There's not a lot of time for rest and relaxation. And to come out after doing a stressful brief or being up on the bridge conducting a stressful evolution, to be able to go into the mess and look at my phone and see a picture of my daughter, learn that she knows how to say a new word, and get a smile from my wife. It's something that I never dreamed that would be possible, and I'd like to thank Davies and all the people that worked on that ship for making that happen. It'll make being at sea for long periods of time more bearable.
It's been 2 years of hard work by Davy Shipbuilding, Federal Fleet Services, and the Royal Canadian Navy, and it has paid off. Their work has not only produced a much-needed capability to defend Canada and project Canadian values throughout the globe, it has also demonstrated the innovation, efficiency, and industry-leading skills of Canada's largest, most experienced, and highest capacity shipbuilder. Having one of the most modern, most technologically cutting-edge naval support ships in the world is something that all Canadians can be proud of.